Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how people are always saying quantum computing is going to totally revolutionize everything?
Yeah, it seems like it's always just over the horizon, though.
Right. Like it's always the next big thing, but it never quite gets here.
Exactly.
Well, today we're diving deep into IonQ, a company that's actually trying to make quantum computing a reality.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
It is. And before we get too deep, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future deep dives just like this one.
Definitely.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we've got a big old research report on IonQ.
Sounds comprehensive.
Oh, it is. It covers everything you could possibly want to know about their tech, their financials, even what Warren Buffett might think of them.
Oh, wow. Bringing in the big guns, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we try to be thorough, but don't worry, we're going to break it all down into the juiciest bits for you.
Perfect.
So, everyone's talking about the potential of quantum computing, but what makes IonQ stand out from the crowd?
Well, the cool thing about IonQ is they're using this trapped ion technology.
Trapped ion. That sounds kind of ominous.
It kind of does, doesn't it? But basically, it's just a different approach to quantum computing than a lot of their competitors are using.
Okay, so what's so special about this trapped ion thing?
Well, it could be a game changer because it's potentially way more stable and scalable.
Stable and scalable investors love to hear that.
You got it.
But how does it actually work? How do they trap these ions?
So basically, they use lasers to trap individual ions, which act as the quantum bits or qubits.
Lasers. I knew it.
Yep. It's pretty high tech.
So these trapped ions, they're the key to making these quantum calculations happen.
Exactly. And because they're trapped, they're super stable, which is really important for getting accurate results.
That makes sense. The more stable the system, the fewer errors you'll get.
Right.
But it's not just about the hardware.
Nope. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
IonQ is actually a full stack company, meaning they're developing both the hardware and the software.
Oh, wow. So they're covering all the bases.
Yeah, they're not just relying on someone else to build the tools they need. They're doing it all themselves.
That's a pretty unique approach in the tech world, isn't it?
It is. Most companies tend to specialize in one or the other hardware or software.
So this full stack approach, it gives them more control over the whole process.
Exactly. And it could give them a real edge in terms of performance and development speed.
So they're not just building cool tech, they're building the whole ecosystem around it.
Yep. And to top it off, they've even partnered up with some of the biggest names in tech, like Amazon, Microsoft, Google.
Whoa, hold on. Those are some heavy hitters.
Right.
I mean, that's not just shaking hands at a conference. That's like forging alliances that could really change the game.
Absolutely. It gives them access to huge resources and potential markets.
So these partnerships, they're not just for research, are they? Are we talking actual commercial applications here?
That's the big question. Some of these partnerships are definitely focused on exploring real-world applications like cloud computing and drug discovery.
Okay, so maybe not widespread commercial use just yet, but they're laying the groundwork.
Exactly. These collaborations are all about figuring out how to actually put this tech to work.
And that's where the real money is going to be made, right?
You got it.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the partnerships, all that good stuff, but what about the numbers?
Yes. The bottom line.
Exactly. At the end of the day, investors want to know if this company can actually make money.
For sure.
So spill the beans. What's IonQ's financial situation looking like?
Well, their revenue growth has been pretty impressive, triple-digit growth year over year.
Wow, over 100% growth. That's not bad at all.
No, not bad at all, but there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
They're not profitable yet.
Ah, the classic startup story. Spend money to make money.
Exactly. They're pouring a ton of cash into R&D, which is typical for a company in such a cutting-edge field.
Yeah, got to stay ahead of the curve.
Right, and that takes investment.
Makes sense. So they're burning through cash, but hopefully it'll pay off in the long run.
That's the bet.
Okay, so they're spending a lot, but what about their competitive advantage? What's their moat, so to speak?
Well, that trapped ion technology we were talking about earlier, that could be their secret weapon.
How so?
It has the potential to be much cheaper and easier to scale than other approaches to quantum computing.
Okay, so cost-effective and scalable. Two things that investors love to hear.
And on top of that, they've been building up a massive patent portfolio.
Oh yeah, how many patents are we talking?
Over 600.
600. That's a lot of legal protection.
It is. They're definitely serious about protecting their intellectual property.
So they've got the tech, the partnerships, and a solid patent portfolio. But before we get too deep into their management and financials, I want to take a quick detour.
Where are we headed?
Well, we've got a super interesting video over on our YouTube channel that compares IonQ to other quantum computing stocks.
Sounds like a must-watch.
It is. And while you're there, drop a comment and let us know what your top quantum computing stock picks are. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Awesome, I'll check it out.
Okay, now back to our deep dive into IonQ.
So, we were just talking about IonQ's moat and all that.
Yeah, their patents, their tech, all that.
Right. Well, to really wrap our heads around IonQ's potential, I think it's helpful to think about it from the perspective of, like, a legendary investor.
Oh, you mean like Warren Buffett?
The Oracle of Omaha himself.
So what do you think would Warren Buffett invest in IonQ?
Well, one of Buffett's, biggest things is investing in companies that have a durable competitive advantage.
Right, a moat, basically.
Exactly. He loves companies that can just dominate their industries for years and years.
And that makes sense. You want something that's going to last.
Right. And while IonQ's tech seems pretty promising, the quantum computing field is still so young, it's hard to say if they'll be the top dog in the long run.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West out there right now.
Totally. And another thing Buffett looks for is strong financials. Consistent profitability, low debt.
Right. He likes companies that are like cash cows.
Exactly. So how do you think IonQ measures up on that front?
Well, we already know they're not profitable yet.
Right.
But what about their debt? Are they drowning in it?
They're not drowning, which is good.
Okay, that's a plus.
But they are spending a lot on R&D.
Which makes sense. They're trying to innovate.
Right. But that kind of aggressive spending would definitely raise some eyebrows for a guy like Buffett.
Yeah, he prefers companies that are already generating a lot of cash.
Exact.
So not exactly a perfect score on the Buffett test, then.
Probably not. But to be fair, very few companies could meet all of his criteria perfectly.
True, especially in a field as cutting edge as this.
Right. It's not your typical value stock.
So maybe quantum computing isn't really Buffett's cup of tea.
Probably not.
But hey, let's move on to what the professional analysts are saying about IonQ. What's the general consensus?
Well, overall, they seem to be cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. What does that even mean?
Huh.
Well, basically, they think IonQ has potential, but there's still a lot of unknowns.
Okay, so what are the analysts saying specifically? Right now, they have a moderate buy rating on the stock.
Moderate buy, so not a screaming buy, but not a sell either.
Exactly. And their average price target is $33.
Okay, so they think the stock could go up from where it is now.
Right. But they're not, super bullish on it.
So what are they concerned about?
I think the biggest question mark is the timeline for commercially viable quantum computing.
Right, when is this stuff actually going to hit the market in a big way?
Exactly. There's a lot of hype, but widespread adoption could still be years, if not decades away.
Yeah, it's not like we're all going to have quantum computers on our desks next year.
Definitely not. And remember that comment from NVIDIA's CEO?
Oh yeah, the one where he said quantum computing is further off than people think.
Exactly. That kind of spooked investors.
It definitely made people pause.
It just highlights the fact that there's still a lot of uncertainty in this market.
Yeah, even the experts don't have all the answers.
And investor sentiment can change quickly, especially when someone like the CEO of NVIDIA expresses doubt.
It's a good reminder that investing in a young industry like this comes with a lot of risk.
For sure, high risk, high reward.
Okay, so let's break down those risks. What are the biggest challenges facing IonQ right now?
Well, first of all, the technology, while promising, is still unproven at scale.
Meaning?
Well, they've shown that it works in a lab setting.
Right.
But can they actually make these quantum computers work reliably and cost-effectively on a larger scale?
Right. There's a big difference between a science experiment and a commercial product.
Exactly. And even if they can scale the tech, there's no guarantee it'll be commercially successful.
Right. They need to find actual applications for it.
Exactly. They need to identify those killer apps where quantum computing offers a huge advantage over traditional computing.
And that's not always easy.
Nope. And let's not forget about the competition.
Oh yeah, they're not the only ones in this race.
Not even close. They're up against some giants like IBM and Google.
And those companies have deep pockets.
Very deep pockets.
So IonQ, they really have their work cut out for them.
They need to be smart and strategic to compete in this market.
So if you have the technological risk, the market risk, what
Plus, there's also the financial risk.
Right. They're burning through cash. They're not profitable yet.
And the market for speculative tech stocks can be incredibly volatile, meaning the stock price could go up or down significantly in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
So it sounds like IonQ is a classic high-risk, high-reward situation.
Yeah. Investing in them is essentially a bet on the future of quantum computing.
And that future is still very uncertain.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does all this mean for our listeners? What's the takeaway here? Okay, so bottom line, is IonQ a buy?
Well, if you're thinking about investing in IonQ, you really got to be comfortable with risk.
Like a lot of risk.
Yeah, this isn't like a safe and steady blue chip stock or anything.
Right,
This
yeah.
is a bet on a technology that could be revolutionary, but it might not really pan out for years.
So it's like a long-term gamble.
Exactly. You got to go into it with your eyes wide open.
Meaning,
Meaning, if IonQ's tech takes off and they become like a major player in the quantum computing space, you could make a ton of money.
right, early investors could see huge returns.
But on the flip side, you could also lose a lot if things don't go as planned.
So it's all about weighing the potential rewards against the risks.
Exactly. It's a gamble, but it could be a very lucrative one.
But even if you're not ready to like throw your money at IonQ or any other quantum computing stock right now, this whole field is worth paying attention to.
Oh, absolutely. It's a game changer for sure.
I mean, the stuff they're doing is mind-blowing.
It really is. And it has the potential to impact so many industries.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Medicine, materials,
Yeah.
science, finance, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, those are some pretty big areas.
Right. It could change everything.
So who knows? Maybe IonQ will be one of the companies leading the charge.
They definitely have a shot with their tech and those partnerships.
All right, well, a lot to think about for sure.
Okay.
And we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the quantum computing space.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
But before we wrap things up, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future deep dives.
Definitely do that.
And of course, the standard disclaimer this deep dive is for informational purposes only and not financial advice.
Right. Always do your own research before investing.
And for all the sources we used in this deep dive, be sure to check out the links in the description below.
We'll have everything listed there.
All right, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into IonQ.
It was a pleasure being here.
And until next time, happy investing.